Hi, this is Vanshika Chauhan and I am working as a legal intern with Lexis & Company, and today I'll be talking about the impleading of non-parties or non-signatories to an arbitration proceedings. So basically arbitration law imposes some firm restrictions on arbitration agreements, but once these restrictions or requirements are met, the subsequent question of who is a proper and eligible party to the agreement may be determined without reference to these firm requirements. Also, one such question is whether a third party who is a non-party or a non-signatory to the contract and non-parties to contract which contains the arbitration agreement may nevertheless be bound to arbitrate or not. So, various jurisdictions permit third-party non-signatories to be bound to contracts of arbitration, and also the arbitral tribunals have encountered difficulty in deciding which law, rule or procedure should be ultimately used to determine the above matter. Coming to non-signatory to agreements, usually parties to arbitration can refer the dispute to be settled by arbitration, but any person who is not a party to the contract or a non-signatory to the arbitration agreement cannot be brought into arbitration. But Supreme Court has given certain judgments wherein it has held that non-signatories to arbitration agreements may be impleaded in the arbitration proceedings in certain exceptional cases. Now coming to the group of companies doctrine, which was expounded in Chloro Controls India Private Limited versus 7 Tent Water Purification and others, which was a 2014 Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court in this case, while interpreting Section 45 of the Arbitration Act, said that the scope of an arbitration agreement is limited to the parties and those claiming under or through them, and the court in certain cases applied the group of companies doctrine. According to this doctrine, an arbitration agreement entered into by a company being within a group of companies can bind its non-signatory affiliates or sisters or parent concerns if the circumstances demonstrate that the mutual intention of all the parties was to bind the signatories as well as the non-signatory affiliates. Further, the intention of parties is a significant feature which must be established before the scope of arbitration can be said to be involving both the signatories and the non-signatories. Further, a non-signatory or a third party could be subjected to arbitration without their prior consent only in exceptional cases, and the court will examine these exceptional cases from the touchstone of the direct relationship to the party signatory to the arbitration agreement, direct commonality of the subject matter, and the agreement between the parties being a composite transaction. The reference of non-signatory parties is neither unknown in the arbitration jurisprudence nor it is impermissible. Coming to the Supreme Court's judgment in Reckitt Benckiser versus Private Limited versus Reinders Label Printing India Private Limited, it had the occasion to revisit the principles expounded in the Chloro Controls case. The facts of the case were that an application under the Act was made by Reckitt India for appointment of an arbitrator pursuant to an agreement between Reckitt India and Reinders India. Reckitt India also impleaded a Belgium-based affiliate of Reinders India despite it being a non-signatory to the agreement. Both Reinders India and Reinders Belgium were constituents of the same group of companies known as Reinders Label Printing Group, and also the application was accordingly filed before the Supreme Court on the premise that Reinders Belgium was an entity incorporated in a country other than India, and therefore the arbitration was an international commercial arbitration. Now coming to the arguments for impleading the non-signatory, Reckitt India argued, referring to a clause in the agreement, that Reinders Belgium agreed to indemnify Reckitt India in case of any loss or damage caused to Reckitt India by any act or omission of Reinders India, and it therefore argued that this made Reinders Belgium an integral part of the agreement which contained the arbitration clause. Further, Reckitt India argued that Reinders Belgium was a part of the exhausting negotiation proceedings which was in lieu of the execution of the agreement. And to further its point, it pointed out the correspondence of Mr. Frederick Reinders, who was purportedly a promoter of Reinders Belgium and who was allegedly acting for and on behalf of Reinders Belgium while the agreement was being furnished, and therefore indicating that Reinders Belgium's consent was to arbitrate. Further, Reckitt India argued that Reinders Belgium was the disclosed principal on whose behalf Reinders India was acting in execution of the agreement. Now coming to the arguments as to why non-signatories should not be implemented. Reinders Belgium submitted that it had no presence or operation in India and was not involved in the negotiation, execution or performance of the agreement, and neither was there any privity of contract between itself and Reckitt India. It further argued that Reinders India and Reinders Belgium were only a part of the Reinders Group, which was an international operating group of 7 printing companies, each with their own separate legal entities operating from different offices. And both Reinders India and Reinders Belgium had a common holding company, which was Renasco NV. And Reinders Belgium was also clarified that Mr. Frederick Reinders wasn't a promoter of Reinders Belgium, and he was just an employee of Reinders India. The Supreme Court, giving its judgment, held that the burden on Reckitt India to establish that Reinders Belgium had an intention to consent to the arbitration agreement and was a party to it, even if it was limited to the extent that it had to indemnify Reckitt India in case of any loss or damage caused to it by Reinders India in case of any act or omission by it. This burden had not been taken care of by Reckitt India, and therefore it was dismissed. Further, Reinders Belgium neither was a signatory to the arbitration agreement, and nor it had any casual connection with the process of negotiations preceding the agreement or the execution thereof. And from the facts of the case, the court held that Frederick Reinders was just an employee of Reinders India and was not a promoter, and he acted in that capacity during the negotiation preceding the agreement and was in no way associated with Reinders Belgium. Court held that Reinders Belgium was neither a party to the agreement nor it gave its assent to the arbitration agreement, and that the fact that Reinders Belgium and Reinders India belonging to the same group of companies made no difference.